Hello, everyone. This is Casey Bowles. I'm sitting at a makeshift studio in my kitchen wearing sunglasses. Joining me is Tyler Welburn. We're not really sure how we got here. What we do know is we have no fucking clue what we're doing. On today's episode, Tyler tells you about his new man crush, Cody West. I melt his mind with autopilot, and I tell you a story about the time I met a guy named Gator. All right here on the Texas Meltdown. Have you ever just been driving down the road, and even when you're not stoned or anything, like you're just cruising down the road, and you don't remember like the past 5 miles? Just like, holy shit, have I been swerving? Like, what the fuck has been going on? Well, did you know that your brain has different levels of dealing with stuff? Like, there's routine stuff that your brain does for you that you don't even realize. Like, say, you're walking and there's a step in front of your house. Eventually you get to where you don't even notice that step's there.
Agreed.
You just somehow make it up that, even if you're drunk, be drunk off your ass, been falling down all night. But the one thing you know is that step's there in front of your house. And you don't even know it. Technically.
No, yeah, I
You
do.
just fucking make it up it somehow.
I definitely fully agree.
Even whenever you're hammered drunk, your brain still has a fucking autopilot.
I just sleep in my truck till I sober back up usually.
But anyways, like how often do you find yourself in situations that like you don't remember but you know went well because it just normally happens all the time? And it's not even specific situations. It could just be drunk conversations at the bar. You know, you don't remember the conversation. All you know is it went just like the other fucking friends you made at the fucking bar. All you know is you left that conversation happy. That's the only thing you remember about it. That's autopilot. You literally just showed yourself through that whole conversation, have no recollection of even doing it. All you know is at the end of that conversation, you thought well of that person. And that's all you know about that person. And you automatically like them.
Yep.
You want to be friends with them.
Fully agree with you. And then the next time you see him, you're just like, "Hey, motherfucker!" Like I remember you. Like you
your
get
best
so
friends,
excited.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
do the same thing
Yep.
as long as
yeah,
the autopilot was good.
Yep.
Which, if you're a good person, that's how you can tell. If you don't remember the conversation with somebody and they don't like you, the autopilot was bad. But if you just randomly see somebody, you're just like, I remember that person, I like them. It's like, what up, man? Like, you know your autopilot was good. Now, there's actually even times that it can have good judgment and bad judgment. Either way, it's just automatically done.
Being fully honest with you, I do realize I've done it, and I've looked down after driving for several miles, and I have like just been like, "Holy shit, where have I been for the past 5 miles?" Yeah, no, I've definitely done that. My biggest deal is though is I will stop at a green light and go through a red light. Have
Well,
no.
that's just dangerous.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea. But I'm telling you, more than one time in my life have I stopped at a green light, and more than one time in my life have I ran a red light. Like, people riding with me have been like, Tyler, Tyler, and then go slapping me and yelling. Like, I mean, and I'm sober as can be.
If anybody from the DOV is listening to this, or DOT, if anybody from the DOT is listening to this, y'all need to take Tyler's license away from him. But anyways, mine goes as far as like, I'll be at work, I'll be digging ditch or whatever with Traco, and I'll look up, I done made it 1,000 foot, and that's all day damn near, and I won't remember digging 90% of that shit. I'll look up at the end of the day and just hope to God my shit's straight as a fucking arrow, and usually it is, and I'm not sure if everybody else does that. I've never asked that. But that means I'll literally be on autopilot digging on a Traco. I'll get in such a routine of just scooping and throwing to the side and scooping and throwing to the side. Literally, I bet it's over 1,000 times in a day. And that's why they let us have swampers, is because like they know we get in that kind of routine. And like you literally can't pay attention fully at that point. Like you can't just know where everything around you is, because you've been doing the same thing so many goddamn times that if something doesn't change, like somebody waving their arms, or somebody just getting into the picture that wasn't there before, they have to do that to even let you know that you're fucking up, because you'll never even know. If there's a live line coming up, if you don't have a swamper digging ditch like that, that's really, really nerve-wracking to sit there and have to dig that many times, and also keep your mind on the fact that there's a line back behind you somewhere and you're not really sure how far you've gone. And unless you turn all the way around, which takes up a long time, as many times as you're doing that, you don't know.
No, I fully agree with you, man. I mean, next thing, I did the same shit last week. I was working on this truck. I'm putting heads on it or whatever else, and I'm not gonna lie to you. There was about 2 hours worth of work that I'm looking back and I'm going, shit, what did I just do? Did I do all that right? I hope I did all that right.
Did I leave an injector out?
No, I did not leave an injector out. Would have remembered that.
For the record, Tyler left a whole injector out of my truck one time.
Did not leave a whole injector out of his truck one time.
Might as well have.
It just started leaking some fuel, which wasn't even technically
a lot
my
of
fault.
Fuel. So much fuel it didn't go anymore.
Yeah, it did just down on the side of the road. But it doesn't matter.
In Domino,
I got it fixed after that.
I had to call Mark's whole ass to come get me. Which was the last thing I wanted to do in my whole entire life.
Out of all the excuses,
if there was one thing I wanted to do that morning, it was the exact opposite of call my boss and tell him to come fucking get me.
If anything, though, that was probably one of the most believable excuses that you ever told him on why you were late to work.
Holy shit, was it? I'm telling you, man. My excuses to go to work got to be on autopilot. Like, I just had them down.
That's no lie.
I can miss work. Hey, this bitch never questioned me.
Oh, I know.
Everybody at work, they be pissed as fuck. They be like, oh, you went out and got drunk last night, blah, 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 blah. Because obviously I smelled like alcohol. My eyes are bloodshot and black because I ain't slept. It was just terrible. But Mark, no, I work my ass off anyways. He didn't give a fuck. I put my all in every single day, no matter how tired, hungover, still drunk.
I got to go back to the whole driving situation also, man. Like, I was, and this involves being late to work. I was late to work one morning. I'm driving 96 because at the time, the pickup truck I was driving, that's all it would do is 96 miles an hour. So I'm sitting there, I'm rolling 96, bebopping along, late to work, just thinking to myself in my head, like, am I going to have a job after I get to work this morning? I'm looking back, there's red and blue lights flashing behind my truck. I was like, I don't even have any kind of excuse to give him. I'm just going to be dead ass honest with him. He came up to the window. He said, son, where in the world are you going in such a hurry? And I was like, officer, I apologize. I'm super late to work. No, it wasn't that fast.
Autopilot, because you was late. You late so much. You had autopilot when you was late.
Yep.
I just had autopilot in my life. You were late, or currently late, so much.
Look, man.
That you have autopilot.
If you're telling me,
for what you tell a police officer when you're speeding down 59.
I told him too. I was like, man, I didn't see you there. Which, regardless, that was beside the point. But like, I literally got pulled over doing 96. I looked at that cop, and I kid you not, I was so hungover from the night before. My eyes were bloodshot red. It probably looked like I was bawling the entire way until I got pulled over.
I've been crying all morning. I'm sorry, officer.
Yeah. So he was just like, all right, I'll be right back. He gave me a warning, not a ticket. He gave me a warning and let me rock back on. You know what I did? I pulled right back away from him, started doing 96 again until I got to work.
Cops are people too, man. They get fucked up.
They do, man. And I tell you what, that had to be the most sympathetic cop ever.
Every once in a while, you'll get that dickhead cop.
Yes.
But a lot of the times, that cop will relate to you. And they'll be like, you know what? It's all right. You know how many times I've had a cop stomp my weed out on the side of the road? I'm serious.
Shit. You know, man, one comment, though, I do have to add is how much do you think you enjoy your life if you go onto autopilot that much?
You know, I feel like the more I go into autopilot, the more my life sucks. Like, I have to have random shit happen that I can remember,
I know.
where I just feel like I'm not significant.
Yes, I fully agree with you. 100%. I'm there on that situation. Like, that is one of my biggest deals. That's why I wanted to get into the whole podcast situation, doing all this stuff and everything else, is just because I felt that I was living my life on autopilot entirely too fucking much because of how unhappy I was for a certain amount of point in my time. And my brain just automatically went to thinking, no, this is how life is. This is what you need to do to handle it. Now, fuck that. That's not what I want to be, and that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about at all. So I'm gonna start looking at shit as far as like how not to get my brain on autopilot as much as it does go.
You have to shake things up, man. That's why I've done all the things I've done. You know, like, I tell you all a lot of crazy stories and shit all the time. But I'm telling you, it's not out of the fact I just like crazy shit happening. I swear. This shit stresses me out just as much as it does y'all.
It's terrible.
But it's just the fact of I cannot sit here and do the same thing over and over and over. I have to always do whatever I think is going to be the most interesting situation just so I remember it. If I go to the same parties every weekend, it'll become to where people will come up and tell me stuff that I did and I've said, and I can't remember it. But if it's a specific situation, if it's something that I wanted to do that
If it's
day,
something that caught your attention.
yeah, something that caught my attention, I went and done it, and I remember it.
Yep.
I remember the whole thing. But if it's something I've done before, fuck it. I just
You went on
ramble.
autopilot.
Yeah, autopilot. Exactly. I just go on autopilot. It's just like my body naturally acts.
I feel like that's why I feel like that's why my personality is the way it is when people are not really surprised in the same sense of like when I tell them some of the random stuff that does happen to me, they're just not surprised. But I enjoy that also in my life. I like the fact that I don't have any kids yet. I like the fact that I'm single. I can go do whatever it is I want to do whenever I want to go do it at the drop of a hat. On the whim that it is something random and something that is catching my attention and something that might be fun or it may not be fun.
You know, something else I want to make a point about is those people that know you by those specific instances, that means that those people weren't on autopilot when they were doing whatever it was they were doing with you. That's what I love about people telling me about stories that we did. And like just dumb shit.
That's a very valid
craziness.
fucking point. Holy shit.
because-
That's a very good valid point.
because-
And then 90% of them are mostly my damn good friends. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But
Yep.
even me, because I have very few real good friends, you know, like
Yeah.
I've kept very few people around me for an extended amount of time. I've had a lot of best friends. It's just I've kept only a certain number of them around for an extended amount of time, basically. Like
Yeah.
longer than a year
Right.
or so. But anyways, you know, the people, like strangers come up to me all the time. They're just like, man, remember that one time? And I say they're strangers, but it's people I've met a couple times, you know, but I don't know them. But they remember me from something. You know, like they weren't on autopilot whenever we talked about that or whenever we did whatever the fuck it was, stupid, crazy shit that we did. Like the time we went into Electric Cowboy parking lot doing donuts. That guy,
Dalton.
I met him one time, and that was 3 years ago. I seen him the other night. We're talking about 2 weeks ago. I seen him, and this son of a bitch remembered me.
And
Remembered
brought up
the
that
song-
exact situation.
Remember the song we was listening to, Bread and Water by Ryan Bingham? Remembered that we had beat the fuck out of the air vents on this car and had broke a bunch of shit. Broke the rearview mirror. We fucked up. We should have treated that car like that.
It was a rental car, man. That's what you do with the rental car.
Anyways, that guy remembered all of that. And I had met him one time 3 fucking years ago. And that's what I want from other people.
I agree with you.
The people that I have experiences with that I don't remember are not my friends. Those are acquaintances. If I can recall
No doubt.
certain wild ass, just stupid shit.
And it really doesn't even have to be wild ass stupid shit. It's just mainly just the funny random shit in my life that I enjoy.
Well, yeah, that
like
too.
going to the gas
That too,
station
that
can end
too.
up being. I can tell you about this. When I go to Sonic and I hear it's hi, welcome to Sonic. It's Sherelle. I know Sherelle is my girl. I don't even know what it is about that day that I first heard Sherelle, but like she broke my autopilot and she said her name's Sherelle. I about lost my shit. I don't even know why. I just love the name Sherelle. Like it was the funniest shit I think I've ever experienced. Completely stupid. It was a Sonic trip. That's it. But seriously though, won't ever forget it. So on today's episode, I'll be talking to you about Cody West. This kid's been around playing music since 2014, getting as many acoustic and songwriting shows or competitions that he could get into, trying to just learn as much as he could and as quick as he could, I guess you could say, also in the sense of being around the Texas country music scene, the people that are involved in it, and the way that he wanted to show.
Wasn't he Dalton Domino's band manager for a little bit?
Yeah, man, he actually was. In 2015, this is when he was actually doing that whole gig for them and everything else. He released his first EP in 2016. It was pretty. It's got some good tunes on it, and you can tell, where he's playing his music at and
He
what
got
it
his
sounds
name
like.
out there anyway.
Yeah, man, for sure.
I knew about
and
it.
that's mainly the biggest deal is like just getting your shit out there, like one way or the other. It doesn't even really have to be that great.
I had heard about him before his new album, but I never really listened to him. I actually haven't listened to his old EP. Either.
I haven't listened to his old
I
EP
listened
yet
to that
either.
song.
I know,
Green,
I'm sad. That's sad to admit, but I really haven't done it yet.
Green on his new album, like that's my shit. That song put me into a trance. I'll get to thinking, not always about good shit, but it always turns out good, I guess.
Yeah, I agree, man. But no, also on the album he has a melody, and it's got a good vibe to the whole song from the very first line. I mean, it's there, and you can feel it. You know what I mean? He's one of those people you can tell he's experienced what it is exactly he's singing about, and just about all of his songs are coming back to you, and you can just see that kind of where he's coming from, where he looks to be going, and how he's doing along the way, pretty much. And I mean, you can listen to song by song, and you can just tell that through the whole music that he throws out there. I'm trying to think of a better way to word that, but that's kind of the best I got for right now. But
Like, where does this sound come from?
in one of the interviews he was doing, he had mentioned how John Mayer taught him how to play guitar.
Well, a lot of his music, like you can tell, it kind of comes from a John Mayer's kind of point of view. He relates a lot to that.
Can you say that though? Because I mean, I don't really have that. I don't know that. If I said that, I don't know. It wouldn't be true because I don't know that. I don't even know I've never listened to a John Mayer song that I can remember.
We listen to John Mayer melody. I listen to John Mayer melody.
I mean, I'm as shitty as that sounds.
So what kind of music is it? Like, is it like got a lot of rock to it? Is it like mostly country? Like, what kind of?
He's got a heavy rock influence in his music, and you can tell that, like I said, through and through every song he's playing, and he does a really great job of transitioning from that to the Texas country red dirt. He likes to consider himself alternative country.
Alternative rock.
Alternative country. It is such a thing. Google it. It is such a thing. Your Google works just as much as my Google does. It doesn't fucking matter. Well, I mean, it's just what he likes to mention himself by. I don't give a fuck. He's dead. Whatever the fuck. I've never been into that though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could give a shit less of what you consider your music as. If I can listen to it and I fucking think about what it is, like immediately, like whatever else. But if I like this song, I fucking like this song. So throughout the week, I've been researching a lot of information.
Well, guys, that's about all you need to know about Tyler is the fact that he doesn't even know who John Mayer is.
I hate to say that, but no, I don't. I don't know a lot of music about John
Mayer aside. Cody West, a bad motherfucker. Where's he playing at this weekend? Yeah, everybody go see Cody West next weekend, December 6th, in Waco, Texas.
Yeah, man. Coming up in December 6th, he'll be playing at the Backstage Bar and Grill in Waco, Texas. So I'm hoping we can make our way out there to go see that show, actually. He's got a show coming up in Waco, Texas at the Backyard Bar Stage and Grill. I believe it's December 14th. He's going to be playing with Roger Krager, Cody Cannon, Flatland Cavalry, and a few others.
That'll be a pretty good show, I think. Cody Cannon's pretty good. I like Roger Krager. His band is pretty cool. I like them.
Oh, did you get to meet them?
Yeah, I bet. Oh, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, yeah, they're cool guys.
Yeah, they're really great people.
They like me. They like me. They point me out every time I go to one of their shows.
That's pretty fucking
They're all
dope,
good
though.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, guys.
Yeah, it's actually considered the Winterfest or whatever, but it's going to be on December 14th in Waco, Texas at the Backyard Bar Stage and Grill. You guys need to get out there and check it out for Winterfest.
It'll be a good time. Good time. Somebody today was telling me about how they were going to the strip club. It got me thinking. Every time I hear strip club, I always think of the first time I ever went to Odessa pipelining. That was back in 2010. We had a really good time when we were there. We cooked and drank every single night with everybody. There's 10, 15 of us any given night outside the camper, making noise, getting rowdy. I don't know how we survived because I was young. They were all older. My dad had let me borrow his camper for like the last 3 weeks while I was there. He left early. I'll let you know why that's important later. But me and Big John, my boss, which is like this big giant of a fucking man, and this other dude named Gator. Still don't know who he is. Never seen him again. Met him that one night. We all go out to Graham's in Odessa, which is this huge club. It had like 7 bars in one. It had a biker bar, a rap side, country side, pop side. It was just really cool. Really nice place. We go there and we go to leave at like 2 a.m. and they're like, man, let's go strip club. Let's go Jaguars. And it's a ratchet ass, low down, dirty strip club. Not some place you just really want to go to. I thought to myself, what the hell? This is my last night in town. Let's go out. Let's spend a little bit of money. So we're trying to find it. We can see it from across the road, but there's railroad tracks in between us, and we can't find any way across these railroad tracks other than an overpass like a mile down the road. We go. We finally wind up underneath a different overpass, and my boss, Big John's like, man, it's got to be just like a mile or two down these railroad tracks. And I'm like, man, I don't think we should just be driving down the railroad tracks. There's like rock embankments on both sides. And we decided we was going to straddle them. Anyway, I don't know how I come down to that conclusion, but we was going to straddle these railroad tracks in our trucks. We're in separate vehicles. I'm in mine by myself, and he's in the truck with Gator. We get to going down the railroad tracks, and we come up on a couple that had already tried to do what we did, except they bounced off the tracks and was like teetering on the edge. Big John made that guy get in the bed of his truck and let the girl get the cab because he was in a single cab. It was colder than a bitch, and this dude had on a short sleeve shirt. So after we got to going about maybe 2 or 3 miles down these railroad tracks next to the main highway, I don't know how a cop never spotted us. I don't know how we're not in jail. Apparently that's some federal shit. I don't know much about railroad. But anyway, after about 2 or 3 miles of going down these railroad tracks, I started thinking to myself, like, we're not nowhere near where we thought we was, and this ain't the right way. But somehow, after 10, 15 minutes longer of us bouncing down these fucking railroad tracks, we finally make it to Jaguars, and this sumbitch is packed with people in the parking lot. There's people everywhere, and we're coming in 2 loud-ass Dodge Diesels with straight pipes, just roaring off the railroad tracks into the parking lot, which is apparently the opposite direction of the actual driveway, so everybody was looking at us. We stand in this long line to go in. Nobody says nothing to us. Shit, 3 crazy white guys pulling in off railroad tracks. Not many people's gonna say nothing. But we stand in this long-ass line. We get all the way to the door. One of the welders that was with us earlier in the night calls, and his fuel pump or injector pump or something had done went out on his fucking truck. So Big John says, hey, I gotta go. I gotta go help this welder. And just leaves this random guy named Gator with me. And I had to take him to what I am still to this day pretty sure was not where he lived at. Mind you, this is 7, 8 years ago, so don't judge me. But I found some weed in the parking lot. Somebody was selling weed. But anyways, the next day, I load up my dad's camper, get everything situated, tell Big John and them bye. We don't even mention the railroad incident. My little sister calls me. She's in Weatherford. And she was going to be leaving in a couple hours, and she won't know where I was at. Well, I told her what time I was going to be coming through. We ended up meeting up at the Loves. Well, I decided I was going to roll me a joint. I done rolled half this trip without smoking any weed. I was about to. I get so high from not have smoking in a long time. I'm following my little sister through the middle of Fort Worth, the middle of Dallas. We're rolling 80 mile an hour pulling this camper. I'm high as shit. I'm in a 3/4 ton truck. I can't see out none of my mirrors. And I am mowing them little orange arrow signs they have that are on the spring that are in the middle of the road for road construction. I'm mowing them sons of bitches down right and left. I don't really know what the point of that story is, by the way. I just felt like y'all guys need to know that about me. It might be why I turned out like I have. You never know. everybody. That's our show. And we hope you had just as much fun as we did. We put in a lot of hard work. So if you like what we did, subscribe to our podcast. We also have a Twitter, a Facebook, and an Instagram. So if you would, go follow us on there, and we'll keep y'all updated on our next episode. See y'all next time on the Texas Meltdown.